This is probably where I say something witty and make myself seem interesting. Hello individuals, though I haven't made a video in over a year, and I didn't realize that. I was looking back at my old videos, don't know why, videos from when I was 13 up to like videos on this channel, and sort of just watching them and I guess processing all the changes and stuff. I don't really know what struck me, but I just started watching things and looking back at my old photos, and some of those videos that I was watching, it was interesting because I was so open on a platform and I was putting myself out there, and I forgot that I just feel so distant from having had done that. Like, I don't feel like I'm that open of a person. So for me to watch these videos where I'm talking about some very personal things to the internet and just being okay with that was crazy. And I thought, there's been a lot of changes since I stopped making videos and I just started doing covers, and I guess I just felt the need to start doing it again. I don't know how active I'm going to be in making YouTube videos because I am really busy. This is my last semester of college and I want to move on with my adult life, and I don't know how being like an online presence is going to fit into that. I'm actually really glad that I did YouTube when I did, and I was so active on it and made all these videos and was so persistent on putting myself out there. Because now I look back at these videos and I can track where I was in my life, and there's a lot of things that I forgot had happened, and it's kind of nice because I don't take pictures of everything and put everything on Instagram, but it's kind of nice to have that on YouTube and be like, this is how I was feeling, this is what I was going through, I remember now, and sort of put a timeline to things, because oftentimes my timeline in my life is just blurred. But there are some things, even looking back at my old channels, where I'm very vague about, looking back at my old videos where I'm very vague about things, and I'm like, well, this is going on in my life, but not explaining what it is, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck was going on with my life. But I just thought it would be nice to make a video. I have some free time, and like I was saying, some things have changed since I've made my videos, and like looking back at it, and I don't know, like I really, there's no need to sort of summarize these things for anyone, and ultimately I feel like I'm the only one who ends up watching my own videos, but it is nice to look back and have sort of like a time capsule. So my title for this video is obnoxious for a reason. I was watching, I haven't fully gone through all of these because I realize how long I make my videos and how much I could just ramble. And once I'm comfortable in front of a camera, I don't shut up. I realized that. And like, I could tell which videos I was way more comfortable in front of the camera and going on, and like which videos I was like awkward about things, and I don't know. I am now 2 years and 7 months on T. I think today is 3 days until I'm exactly 7 months past the 2 years on testosterone. I can grow facial hair a lot faster. I'm on a pretty high dose, so that really is like the biggest change that's going on right now is my facial hair. I'm in a different place in my life than the last time I've been making videos. I mean, a lot of the videos that have happened 3 years ago after my breakup was me working on myself, and I've been doing that since, but I've been doing it in very different ways. I think I was trying to be so positive at the time, and it makes sense, and I think it was a good time to do that, but now I'm just trying to figure out like what it is that I want in life and what I want to do with my future. And I wasn't necessarily thinking about my future at that time. I always am, but not fully to the extent that I am now, just because I am so close to graduating, and what do I want to do with my career, and what kind of legacy do I want to leave. And I guess this is sort of going back into this is why I think videos can be important. My title is super obnoxious for a reason. I did make videos where I talk about my sexual orientation and how it's changed in the past, and I identify as straight, but I know like in my own channel I've rebelled against that, and I have said that I don't necessarily identify as that, and et cetera, et cetera. I know at the time I really felt that way, and in one of my old videos I did say, like, I never took away my gender videos because those are the feelings that I've had at the time, and obviously, like, they're different now. I very much, I like women, and when I think about my future and I think about my future family that I want to make, I think about having a wife and 2.5 kids and a white picket fence and having that American dream. And I struggled because it's very cis heteronormative view, so it's like, what kind of struggle is that? But I think because I have so many radically political friends that I felt like I was not like being radical enough, and I had to just be like, I'm okay with the fact that I want that normative life because that's what affirms me the most. Like, I didn't choose to be trans. I hate it, but it is something that's a part of my, like, part of my history and part of my experience, and I'm not gonna deny that. Which, like, if I ever think about living stealth, like, I have a whole bunch of videos online where I clearly have gone through a journey, but ultimately it's my decision, and it's, you know, nobody chooses to be this way, and I don't, personally, for me, I don't want to make the personal political anymore. I was an activist for so long, and, like, that was the only thing. Like, I was so into the social justice world that when I decided to stop and when I decided to leave all that and just sort of take time for myself, I realized how much work, like, it takes to constantly be fighting for something. And though a part of me will always be an activist, I feel like there are other parts of me that matter to me more now in terms of what I'm fighting for. And my transness isn't necessarily that. Am I still open about it? Yes. Am I still going to write about it? Yes. And do I still want to make it a huge part of my career in terms of my filmmaking? Yes. Not necessarily focusing on trans stories, but hiring trans people. I plan on making a documentary that's hopefully would be an all trans crew and, you know, be focused on trans stories. So it's still a huge part of me. And I think I do see the importance of being out in that way, that I know that because I'm part of the community, I'm more suited to tell our stories. But I think I'm at a very different place in my life than I was 4 years ago when I started the channel, or whenever I started the channel, where it was important for me to keep talking about gender because I looked so different. I presented very different than the way that I perceived myself, and now I'm very masculine, and I mean, you know, sometimes clearly my mannerisms aren't fully like that, but I've learned to be okay with some of that, and, you know, I am, like, just naturally, I tend to be very masculine, and I have certain mannerisms, and I was socialized to be a certain way that I can't pretend like, you know, I was socialized to be a girl. So there's a lot of things that I've kept with me, and I think is important to keep with me. And sometimes it keeps me in check. I don't want to be misogynist, and I very much keep myself to that standard that you were once seen this way, you were once treated a certain way. Don't continue to, like, push that system. You know, my gender has really gone through a journey, and I very much put that online, and I very much put that on videos. My Instagram is all pictures of after I came out as a man. So they're all, you know, none of them are pictures of my past life. And YouTube is the only thing that I've kept as a platform where my past life, or like my past life, the times where I was high feminine presenting, is still online. And watching back on those videos, and even like going back into my Google Drive and like looking at all these pictures, I feel very distant from that person. I don't recognize who that person is, but I know it was me at some point. It's just hard for me to connect that. So that's where I am. I guess I've sort of just conformed to these normative standards in terms of how I want to have a family, in terms of what kind of woman I want to be with. they're pretty normative standards, but there's something that is completely valid, and I don't need anybody else to affirm that it's valid, because I know it is, and I have the right to that as much as anyone else does. So yeah, so that's and then my faith that I was watching videos and had talked about like my feelings of the church and my feelings of religion, and that has been its own struggle in itself, just because I was raised to believe certain things about certain groups of people, and seeing that I was a part of certain groups of people, it was really hard for me to struggle between that. I still to this day have a lot of trouble either finding community or finding answers, I guess, to questions I don't really have. For me, having a faith and calling myself a Christian is just something that brings me comfort and is a sense of reclaiming something that I didn't have for so long, that I can be someone of faith and still be trans, and that's, and still, live life the way that I feel is right. And like that feels important for me to at least be open about that part of my life. And I'm trying to, for me to come out as a Christian, I think was harder just because of the people that I ended up surrounding myself with. For me to come out as trans was a lot easier because I was already in a community where I was already in the queer community who was a little more open to me transitioning, versus coming out to not even queer people, but just coming out to people who don't see the benefit or don't believe in a God at all, or don't see the benefit of faith. And I think because those worlds are so separated, and I don't I haven't even told my parents that I go to a trans Bible study. They don't even know I'm trans, but I don't even tell them that I go to a Bible study when I go, or that I want to visit churches. And if I ever do, I don't ever intend on telling them. And it sucks to have to hide that part of my life that I know I share with them, because I know we share it in a very different way. And the way that I see God and the way that I see Christianity is very different than the way that I was taught to believe that it is. And I think, they preach on being open and loving, but I never felt that way, and I had to learn to put those two together. And it doesn't mean that I am reading the Bible every day and that I'm praying every day, but it does mean that I have something to believe in, and I have something to keep me in check sometimes when I'm getting angry or something, and I'm like, that's not the way I should be acting. And I think that's it in terms of my identity. I've said, I haven't verbally told my parents, but it's very clear now. I think they're making assumptions in their head, and my mom has asked me questions, but I haven't given her the answers as I should have. I'm just not ready for that conversation. At some point I will have to tell them, and my medical transition has to just stop at certain points, because I have to wait until I'm on my own for me to feel comfortable enough to proceed with legal changes, whether it be name changes or medical changes or anything like that. But the T of just sort of has been a huge lifesaver for me. And again, looking at these videos and me saying I have to wait until T, and I'm really sad about it. And now being months away from being 3 years on a hormone that has really been one of the most affirming things for me is insane. And I am so happy about it. It is huge. I'm just really happy that I decided to go ahead with it. I can hear my own voice, and I know who I am, and I can, my face is squared out, and I can grow facial hair, and it's awesome. Yeah, that's where I am. And about whether or not I want to continue on YouTube, I feel like this is constantly the question, and I have 5 videos on me talking about YouTube and where I stand with it and what I'm going to do with it, and I never know the answer, and the answer always changes anyway. I've been on YouTube for so many years now that, not active, but I've had videos for so many years that it is always a question of what's going to happen, and I really don't know. But I felt the need to make this just because clearly things have changed, and if anybody's been following my videos, and I am in a different place now, and I felt the need to state that and sort of affirm myself, I guess. We'll see where I go. I did enjoy making videos at some point, and looking back, I'm all of them fucking are depressing, and my monthly favorites were fun and cute, and maybe I should do something like that, so not every video in this has to be life crisis. So we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, if you've watched up to here, thank you. I don't even know half my video was audible because I'm talking from my voice is here. But yeah, thank you. If you subscribe to my channel, you can wait. Oh, hold on. I have an ending. I have the ending. Let me think if I can remember it. If you subscribe, you can give an individual their wings, and something about joining my winged family, and who doesn't want to learn to fly. Bye.